Some kind of therapist for
With her doctor?
Well,
her doctor should know that she's going to need some counseling.
Years and years and years to come.
There will be years of counseling then.
Yes.
All right, and the best thing you can do is obviously stay off drugs and just be as good a mom as you can.
That's a definite there.
Right?
Right now they have me on Tegretol and Prozac because...
So you're bipolar?
Huh?
You're bipolar?
I'm personality disorder.
Yeah, borderline.
Yeah.
And a little bipolar stuff going on, huh?
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, that's what Tegretol's a mood stabilizer.
Right.
All right, well, you sound reasonably stabilized, Marie.
Well, the Tegretol helps a lot.
Let's just, we'll just put the past behind us here and just take it from this point on. And you really can't go back and change the past.
Yes, this I'm aware of.
All right, we'll just move ahead. Take care of your daughter. Give her everything she needs because she's going to need a lot. And take care of the boys, too. Oh, yeah. And you know, the great thing about this country is every time you start talking about the right to reproduce, everyone gets freaked out.
This is where you guys lose me. How can she have a 17-year-old son whose little sister gets raped by some maniac and he's just chilling, getting straight A's in school? That's where I'd become a serial killer right there. I swear to God, I couldn't even... I'd go grab, he's just getting A's. He's like, oh, that's cool. I'm so busy getting A's, I can't help my little sister. You know what I'm saying? Well,
he probably... it's not like he was sitting next to her reading an atlas or something.
I'm saying, what about afterward? Wouldn't you lose your mind and keep... If you had you were 17, already a thug. Everybody's a thug when they're 17. You're already on the streets. Your little sister gets raped by some guy, and then you're just chilling, getting A's in school.
Yeah, but these guys have probably disassociated themselves from this horrible family many, many years ago. At least that's what it sounds like to me. And God bless them. They should spend every waking moment in a library and all summer at a camp somewhere.
Dad lives with a maniac from the streets. The mom's a crackhead. And he's getting straight A's in school. There's something wrong with
all right. Well, give the guy a break. Don't criticize a guy for doing well on the SATs. Come on.
Man, all I know is it don't matter if you dropped out like me or you graduated college. Anybody's little sister gets raped like that, they become a mass murderer. That's what I think. I think insanity would snap in. How can anybody keep their mind? I don't care. How can anybody keep their sanity when something like that happens to your little sister? Some guy, a murderer, you've been mad enough where you felt like you could kill somebody. You can relate to that, even though you never do it. You can relate to how it would happen. But how could somebody rape a 4-year-old girl? You can't relate to that. That's pure insanity. That's pure maniacness. So therefore, he doesn't need to be on the earth. He needs to be wiped off. He needs to be murdered.
Hey, I'm with you. Hey, you know where...
Especially if I was 17, you can get off for that. If you're 15, him and his brother should have got together and said, yo, you're 15, you do...
All right, wait a minute. Jay, let's stop harping on the brothers. These guys have come from the same screwed-up family. They probably weren't even around. They're probably staying with their aunts at their aunt's house in Fort Lauderdale.
She runs out of town because the guy says he's going to murder her.
All right,
she don't get out.
All right.
Stupid.
Well, she's got a personality disorder.
And get your mind together.
Hey, I think people should be destroyed, by the way. I really do. I think we ought to just treat them like animals. Like the guy who raped the 4-year-old. I don't even call it capital punishment. I think he'd just be destroyed.
Yeah,
they should just have a big pen of these guys like they do at the with animals and just put them down.
They should have a panel with an ex-killer, ex-murderer, ex-robber, an ex-thief, and if none of them can relate to that guy and know where he came from, these people that have rehabilitated themselves, nobody can relate to somebody that rapes a 4-year-old person. There's no rehabilitating in that. What do? You sit in jail. What was I thinking? I'll never do it again. Why would you have the urge to do something like that? You can't rehabilitate somebody
That is right. That is right.
They need their neck lopped off. That's what they call Violent J, and I'd love that job.
Insane clown posse for president. That's what I'm saying. Shags, you could be the first lady or something. I haven't worked the whole thing out. I think Jay would have to be the president. You could maybe be Secretary of State. All right. With that, now we're out. I think we have... No. Do we have enough time? All right. After that tirade, I think we deserve to hear a song from the Insane Clown Posse off of the Great Malenko. This one is called Halls of Illusions.
Listen to the lyrics.
Great Malenko, the Insane Clown Posse with Slash playing the licks on the guitar there. And I'd like to see something on the Great Minka. That's my Asian porn star. Maybe Minka could take on the Great Malenko.
I know exactly who.
You know who I'm talking about?
Great Malenko was to her.
I knew we could identify on that one. All right, we'll be back. Shags are here from the Insane Clown Posse. I'm Dr. Drew, and that's... wait a minute. All right. I've obviously lost my bearings. We'll be back in 10 seconds. Big guys in pro-Mexican wrestling masks, which Drew has never heard of, by the way. Never heard of professional wrestling from Mexico.
What about ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling?
Yes, I've heard of that.
That's wrestling for today's wrestling fan. It's not family-oriented, happy-friendly wrestling. It's like...
I thought it was it's
It's like the UFC,
it's like that, but wrestling.
It's like wrestling. They got the most
They don't
incredible
go out there and
wrestlers.
just fist fight. They
Matter of
wrestle.
fact,
but they
we made a
bust each
special
other in the head.
appearance on a pay-per-view they had last month, and we got our asses kicked. It was pretty cool. They drop-kicked a chair in my face. Sabu and Rob Van Dam. Sabu was
Hit
the
me in the
world
face with a
champion.
metal chair. It
They
was
beat us
tight.
down, and I popped a hole in my eardrum, and I couldn't hear for 3 weeks. It was excellent.
What, hey, do you guys orchestrate that stuff at all before you do it?
I thought it was fake.
Yeah,
so
we went down
out
thinking it was
there.
fake till I got drop kicked in the face with a metal chair, you
We were
know?
out there. They said, go out there and rally up some ECW. You know, we're here on pay-per-view, Fort Lauderdale. We went out there, ECW, ECW. Everybody was chanting. Here comes the wrestlers. I swear I thought it was fake. Here comes the wrestlers. I'm like, whoa, Rob Van Dam. I was talking to him backstage. He throws a round kick and knocks my head off into the first row. And then I look over, because the kid holds my head up so I can see, and I see they got Shaggy in a camel clutch, and Sabu drop kicks a chair in his face. They're beating our asses on pay-per-view. We feel like idiots.
Well, you see, that's the thing is when you walk around with those wrestling masks on, you're asking for trouble. They think you're pros.
It's back to your old behaviors
So
again.
then ECW's like, hey, come on back. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to do something.
Yeah, see, I go in the ring in a diaper, wind-up beanie, and a big lollipop. So they know exactly where I stand on the rough
Beat
stuff.
you even harder, though.
Don't let that Monday Night Wrestling think wrestling's all corny until you've seen some EC dub.
Well, listen, even if this stuff is fixed, even if it's orchestrated, even if it's rehearsed, they're still beating the crap out of each other. I don't know how you can fake that part.
You can't fake a metal chair in the face, you know what I'm saying?
that's my point. Dave.
Hello, you guys.
Hey, you're 33.
Well, good. You want a lighter story after the last one?
Yes.
All right, I had a wild weekend. I went, and if this story gets too long, you'll have to cut me off, but I had sort of a weird weekend. I met this girl, like last Wednesday night, I picked this girl up in a bar. I know you guys probably don't approve of that, but I picked her up.
Hey, that's the stuff.
Brought her back to my apartment, right?
Yeah.
And then, all right, we had one night together. I'm here in the Midwest. She's not from here. She was just passing through town. And then we had one night together. Then the next night, I went to her hotel room, and we had a pizza together. You know, we left the hotel, then had a pizza. We went back to the hotel room, and here's where things got a little... She asked me, I thought we were just settling in. We got back up to the hotel room and we put the TV on, and she asked me when the last time I had sex was. And I said, well, it was about a year. Then I asked her, and she said, well, it was about a few months ago.
Oh, you said you hit it the night before. Well, you
Well,
said
she said before her, of course.
Oh, okay.
Before her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then,
No, I was with you on that one.
then I asked her one more question. I asked her, what did she think of the way I came on to her in the bar? And then, I don't know, just that little exchange, would that create an environment of tension? Because we talked a little bit more, and then I got up to go to the bathroom, and when I got back, she asked me, she told me she wanted to leave, and then she kind of went banjo on me. She flipped out and screamed at me and told me to get the hell out of there.
What'd you say to her? How she was acting?
Would you go number 2 when you went to the bathroom?
Actually,
I got the flush.
They got those hollow corridors, and they can hear
maybe
stuff
that was,
echoing off
I
the
asked
tile.
her if that was the reason.
You're
But
off
listen,
class.
then there's more. Then, like, after she went banjo, I wasn't going to call her, but then another day went by and she called me, and we went out again. We went to dinner, we went to the theater.
That's where you made your mistake.
And then another weird thing happened. She was, like, leaving the next morning, and I said, why don't we, oddly, and I live in the city, and the theater where we went to was not far from my apartment, and I said, why don't we go back to my place for a few more hours?
Yeah.
And then
Trying
she
to get
sort
some
of
skins.
stalled me, and she told me she really had to get back to her hotel room and pack and stuff like that.
All right, so what is your question, Dave?
The question is, was she a nut or something? I mean, and then, because what happened was...
It was a man.
What happened
with
was...
that-
Wait, so what happened was...
And then
It was a
she did
man?
another weird
Yeah.
thing.
What?
Oh.
When we were heading toward the bus stop, I was trying to stall her and trying to, to get her to come to my place. I put my arm around her and said,
Well, she figured if you're gonna go in her hotel room and take a number 2, what are you gonna do at the house? You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'd already spent one night together.
All right, so what did you say? What she say to you when you put your arm around her?
She did something where she pulled away from me very hostily and violently.
All right, Dave. She knows what you're up to. All right?
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
Well, she's screwy.
But she's ambivalent. She's guilty. She's ashamed of herself for what she did. She's trying to develop a relationship with Dave, but every time she attempted to develop some kind of connection with him, he was interested in sex.
We had spent the whole. We went out to dinner. We went to the theater. I mean, and then at the end of the night, I did want to bring her out with me.
Yeah, that's your whole MO. That's the reason you took her to the theater. She picked up on what you're up to.
If I didn't get no skins in you, I'd have skipped the theater and dinner.
Well, what about the night before in her hotel room?
She kicked you out because she felt bad.
Remember you guys talk about...
All right, let me explain. Dave.
Say one more thing. The stench of, what is it, desperation?
Yes, I can smell it through the microphone. You have the stench of desperation on you. Now, I'll tell you what women do, especially crazy women. They feel very amorous. They feel very sexual. But then they know it's wrong because they hear their dad's voice ringing in their head and they hear society's voice ringing in their head. But they get drunk and they go out and have sex with you.
No.
Then you see him the next day. Shut up, Drew. Hey, Engineer Mike.
No, do not do it.
Shut Drew's mic up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me explain to the Insane Clown Posse. So what happens is they see you the next day, and instead of more sex, they feel guilty about the first time, and they're somehow going to try to win it back by making you take them out on a few more dates and tell them you're not that kind. I'm not that kind of girl. But the guy's totally confused because he was banging you in the parking lot of the bar the night before, 10 minutes after he met you.
You're a genius, brother.
Thank you.
You're a genius because I've never got to that second stage because usually after I
But like when I said to her I hadn't had sex for a year, I didn't feel any tension coming from her. From me, there was no tension. I don't know if it bothered her.
Right, but that just underscored the fact that she's more amorous than you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Or that what you were out for that night was sex. And that freaks her out.
No, it doesn't freak. But Drew, she's trying to compensate for the night before. You understand that?
The reason she did the night before, this is where her craziness comes in. What she's looking for is intimacy. What she went for was this physical thing. What she got was a guy who was interested in sex only, and she's trying to make up for that. She feels ashamed. She's trying to find a way to make up and make the relationship. It's not there. This guy wants sex, that's that. Honest enough, fine, that's what he wants. But she's furious.
Yeah, but he took her to a movie, he took her to a dinner.
Yeah, but he had one thing, one reason. No,
he's calling to say he may want, Dave.
Drew.
Dave, would you have had a relationship with her?
Perhaps, but no, Drew, you're being too, you're stereotyping the male, Drew, is what you're doing.
Stop beating up on the penis, Drew.
Yeah. This always answers everything.
Well, Dave, are you looking for a sustained relationship with her?
Well, no, it was going to be like a fling.
About a year.
Dave?
Well, why didn't you come back to my...
That's not what she wanted. That's not what she wanted.
Dave, you did the right thing, brother. You served her proper.
What are you supposed to do, turn down the skins?
It's not your fault she was nuts.
She should be lucky you came back. If that had been me, I'd have been out with
Ladies, listen very carefully to this discussion, because if this is how men think. And if you're going to have sex with a guy the first night, I mean, if you don't want to be thought of this way, don't have sex with a guy at a bar. Don't do that. If that's not what you're looking for, don't do that.
Right. Well, you can't argue with that.
That's good.
But if you do it, then you got to have more sex the following night if you go out. Because, as a matter of fact, the second date is sodomy time.
Just because you have feelings for the person that you had sex with doesn't mean the guy does.
No, it just means he was drunk and had wood. What?
Especially a year.
Hold on, Jay feels slighted here. Yes,
I want to say one thing. What is so wrong with a guy wanting some skins? If I was a girl and somebody wanted to hit this, I'd be flattered. You know what I'm saying? Why is it, if a guy wants some skins, all of a sudden he's a criminal? Why did she feel feel so bad that she let this guy hit it the first night?
Because that's not what she wanted. She felt ashamed of herself and felt
because she felt ashamed because if somebody else would have found out, then you're a slut. You know what I'm saying? I would have respected her more. Let me hit it the first night.
You got to say something. Women, when they have sex, have an emotional experience, even when they don't want to. They get connected to a guy.
That's where they go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. If they're looking, they're capable of just having sex. They do it once in a while, but for the most part, they always have connections that they didn't intend to get with that person, or their feelings come up that are disturbing or conflicted for them. they can't. It's harder for them to have a pure physical experience.
That's a good thing about being a guy, though.
That's right. Guys can do that.
All right.
I'm not beating up on Dave. I'm just saying that's where he was at.